evening, everyone. I'm back for a little one-on-one time with my precious girl, Rikki. And we're going to do a little outfit changing and get her out of her Christmas outfit, which is about time. Even though I loved it so much, it's just so pretty, this knit jamboree. So we're going to go ahead and change her into one of my Cat and Jack outfits that I got a couple of weeks ago that I showed you. And have a little fun here with this girl. It's been a while. And pardon the noise outside if you hear any sirens and everything's going on out there. I have no idea why. We have a pretty quiet neighborhood, but somebody is maybe sick or something. I don't know, but it's in the evening where I'd run out there and find out what was going on. But even the dogs were barking a little bit ago. Anyway, I hope everybody has been well this week and had a good New Year's Eve. I didn't do really anything, just sat around and watched a little TV and everything else. And I went over to see my grandkids, and we read to them and stayed for about an hour or two, and that was about it, and came home. But it was pouring down rain, so it wasn't real inviting to go outside and do anything anyway, or to go visit many people. So we just stayed home and enjoyed our warm, comfy house. But I have had some very sad news this week that's been very hard. My daughter Elizabeth, who I've mentioned, she's a reborn artist too, and you've seen videos of her, some of the dolls she's made me, and I mention her a lot. Well, she is single, and she has her own home, and Robin, my baby, lives with her while she's going to school, and they live going to college. They live probably about a mile from me. Anyway, I was at work, and it was Tuesday. It was my first day back at work because we had Monday off. And I got this phone call from her dad. And he said, "Have you talked to Elizabeth yet?" And I said, "No, what's up?" And he just said, "Sophie died." And Sophie is her little Maltese poodle mix. That she was only 4 years old, and Elizabeth had come home from work, and she has 3 dogs. She has a Cocker Spaniel named Luke, and then a Cockapoo named Georgie, and then little Sophie. And they've all been with her about the same amount of time, and they're all about 4 years old. And it was when she moved into her home, and she came home from work, and they stay on the patio back of her house, out there. She has a covered patio, and they can run out to the backyard, do their business, come back into the patio, and they have their little beds out there and everything while she's at school. But as soon as she walks in the door, they all want to come inside. So, sure enough, they were all at the door except for Sophie wanting to come in. And so she let Luke and Georgie in, and she was calling for Sophie, and she said she just had this sinking feeling, that intuition that something is not right or could be even terribly wrong. And Sophie didn't come, and she walked out on the patio, and she has a favorite little place where she goes to take her naps. And she was just laying over there. And Elizabeth went and called her and said, you know, what's up? Come on, let's go. Let's get in the house. And Sophie didn't move. She went closer and she realized that she was dead. And oh my gosh, she just went hysterical. And she called her dad because he's home. And he went running over there. And on the way, he called me to tell me. Well, it was about an hour before I usually get off work anyway, so I just left and drove over there. And when I walked in, she was holding Sophie in a blanket, just crying. It was terrible. It was so heartbreaking. And my husband had gone over there, and Elizabeth wouldn't pick her up out of the her little bed. She just couldn't do it. She just couldn't do it. She was just hysterical. And so my husband went and got a little blanket and wrapped her up in it and gave her to Elizabeth to hold for a while. And she just looked like she was sleeping, and I came in and I saw this, and of course I was so upset because, well, everybody hates losing an animal or their dog, but little Sophie, she was just like the light of our lives. I mean, she was like everybody's dog. My grandchildren, they loved her. She was just so funny. She was so little and tiny and fluffy, and she just was just so cute. And she would go on shopping trips to Lowe's and any place else that would allow dogs to come in with Elizabeth. And she came over here and visited over here with our dogs, and she was just a little piece of sunshine, and we have no idea what happened. My husband went out on the patio and in the backyard and looked for any kind of poison that might be hanging around, you know, and of course Elizabeth hadn't done any of that anyway, but, you know, and nothing was coming out of her mouth. Nothing, didn't look like she had any bug bite or anything. And she had just been to the vet not too long before that, you know, maybe about a month before that, because she had gotten bit by something that was in the backyard and on the base of her tail, and so it was bothering her. So they went in and shaved that little part off and treated it with some antibiotics and stuff, and gave her some antibiotics, and she did great, you know, just healed right up, and the hair was coming back because they had shaved that part of her tail and all. And so we have absolutely no idea, because we were, you know, I'd asked him, because I took my daughter down to the vet after that so that she could turn Sophie over to be cremated, and she could get her little box with her name on it and everything to have forever. And so when we went into the vet, I asked him how much an autopsy was, and she said, oh, she goes, it's so expensive. And I mean, she really, you know, like, I guess about $1,000 or something. And of course, Elizabeth just really didn't have that kind of money right at the time. You know, spend Christmas and everything else to see what happened. But knowing dogs, just, I don't know, they can live till they're 17, or they can live till, in this case, 4. But the thing is she's a little Maltese and poodle, and they live a long time. So it was just really hard. And as Elizabeth kept saying, she just felt like Sophie would be with her long after Georgie and Luke because she was so little and everything, and just to find her that way, oh, it was just horrible. So we dropped Sophie off, and the wonderful thing is well, because we have Westies, and we've had the same vet for over 25 years, and that vet's office is just, they just know who we are, you know, and the girls, even the new girls, get to know us pretty quickly, and they just, when we came in, they just, I mean, immediately was surrounding Elizabeth. What happened? What happened? And then they saw, and they saw we were just crying, and they were so sweet, and they took her back very carefully and had her wrapped up in the little blanket, and Elizabeth had asked if she could stay in that blanket. You know, don't just dump her in the back of the truck somewhere. Just please have her all wrapped up like that when they take her over to the other vet's place. And so they assured us that she would, and they would. And oh, it was just, my stomach still hurts from all that. So, I mean, it's horrible to lose your animal. It's horrible to lose one you love. But gosh, it's really horrible seeing your child be so brokenhearted. I mean, you know, she doesn't have children. These are her children. And I know that it's not like losing a child in that sense. You know, that has to be the worst of all, but it's close enough for her, because that's what she knows, is these dogs. And anyway, so but what I'm just amazed about is my family, you know, my daughters. Robin, we had to call in London because she's still there. She comes home Monday, and tell her. And that was heartbreaking because Robin lives with her and knows, you know, Sophie's like her dog too, and she didn't know what to do for her sister that she loves so much, you know, being so far away. But her other sister, Katie, who's also single and a teacher, she has one more week off in her school district and didn't have to start school. And she got in the car at 5 o'clock traffic and drove. Took her almost 4 hours because of the traffic, but she drove straight out here so she could be with Elizabeth during the night. And she wouldn't have to be by herself. And she's still here. And she'll probably go home tomorrow, but she's just been a real comfort to my daughter, you know, taking care of the house, taking care of the animals while she's at school, and then Elizabeth has somebody to come home to, you know, and they've been doing some things, and so it was a real comfort for Liz. And anyway, so that's what's been going on with my week. But, you know, we will collect Sophie's little ashes in her little box, and she'll go on Elizabeth's fireplace mantle, and we all have pictures of her, and in remembrance. And at the end of this video, I will have a picture of our Sophie there for you all to see too. But, you know, I am of the belief, and no one's going to tell me any different, that these little animals, they go right back up to Heavenly Father. He created their beautiful little spirits, and they are going right back to Him. And one day, Sophie and Elizabeth will be reunited again. And that's how I believe. And that brings a lot of hope, too. So, anyway, but here's my girl. Here's my pretty girl. She's in our cat. Is this Cat and Jack, or is this just... Oh, this is just One U, but it's from Target, which is now my new favorite store, I tell you. But it's the little pants have these cute little designs on them, and it matches her headband. It looks so pretty in her pretty blonde hair, and she has her velour, soft velour teddy bear smock to go over it with the little pockets, and she has her pretty walker shoes, which, you know, those are my favorite shoes. I mean, they're so cute on her. And let me see if I can get a more of a close-up. Anyway, yeah. So my girl Ricky's had her hair combed now, and she's all out of that Christmas outfit and into something cozy and warm and wintry, and she's just saying hi. And so we're going to leave you now, and thank you everybody for your for your support, for your sweet comments. They mean so much to me, and for following me and all my friends. And hopefully I'll be back a little bit sooner than I have been, so that we can get the boys now out of their Christmas stuff and into something cute. So this is my Rikki, who is, for those of you who are new, she's the Frida Sculpt by Carola just slaughter it. Carola Wegerich. And I've named her Rikki, and she was reborn by Crystal Wynn at Paris Alley, who does an absolutely beautiful job. And she's just my beautiful girl that I love. So, you all take care, and hopefully I'll be back before the weekend. And stay warm, because I know so many of you out there are freezing cold now. Alrighty. Until then, goodbye.